If you're looking to do more with your 2022 Ford Escape, then check out this CURT Class 3 receiver hitch. This is a 2-inch by 2-inch receiver hitch. This is going to be industry standard for a Class 3 receiver hitch. It has a gloss black powder coat finish. It also has a hidden cross tube. As you can see on the Escape here, we're only seeing the receiver part down here, and I like that look on here. It looks like a factory look. It's not out of the way or just this big obtrusive thing on the back of your car. Now, as far as accessories, you're not going to have a ball mount and you're not going to have a pin and clip. This does accept the 5/8 pin and clip. Again, this is not included, but so if you're new to towing, you're going to need the pin and clip and a ball mount. Now, if you're looking at the receiver hitch for accessories like a cargo rack or a bike rack, those typically do come with an anti-rattle pin and clip, so you don't have to worry about that. As far as the chain hangers, they'll accept the standard S-hook or the heavier duty clevis style here. There's plenty of room to get these on and off. I like the way that they're angled back like this. Just makes it convenient. So let's talk about some measurements with this hitch on the Escape, and we're going to measure from the ground up to the inside of the top collar here. And we're looking at 13.5 inches. And then I like to measure from the inside of the pin out to the edge of our bumper here. So just the middle of the pinhole to the edge of the bumper, we're looking at about 4 inches. Now, the reason that these measurements are important is when you're choosing accessories such as a bike rack, a ball mount, or a cargo carrier, you want to make sure that you have enough clearance from the ground. So you might need say a ball mount that sweeps up, or you might need a cargo carrier that has an upward sweep to it. And then as far as the fascia, any folding accessories, you want to make sure they're not going to impact your bumper. So we know what it looks like. We got the measurements on it. How about the capacities? Well, we're looking at 525 pounds of tongue weight, and that's going to be the weight pushing down on your hitch. That's plenty for a 4-bike carrier or for cargo racks that you can load up. As far as towing, we're looking at 3,500 pounds. Now, that's the weight of your trailer plus any additional things that you put on it as far as cargo and capacity like that. You want to check the owner's manual in your Ford to see if it's okay for you to haul that much weight. So final thoughts on this CURT hitch. Look, I like this hitch. This is the one that I would put if this was my car. The 2-inch size, being a Class 3, is going to give you the most options if you're choosing accessories such as a cargo carrier or a bike rack. And even towing. I don't like towing with a Class 1 hitch. This is going to be the best all-around fit and give you the most options. As far as installation, it installs fairly easily. There was some issues as far as we have to enlarge a hole in the frame on the passenger and the driver's side. It's not that big of a deal, but you may have to go buy a carbide burr bit. It's just going to make your life easier to install it. We actually installed this hitch on this vehicle. If you want to see how it's done, stick around. Okay, so let's get the installation started here. We're going to get under the car here and we're going to lower the exhaust. Just using a cam buckle tie-down strap. I'm going to attach it up here on the coil springs. Now, we have this car up on a lift. This is something you can absolutely do on your driveway. Just makes it easier for us to film this up on a lift like this. We're going to take our 11mm socket and we're going to remove that nut. This wiring harness needs to come out of the way right now. We can just kind of bend that out of the way, and that's going to expose the 10mm nut that we're going to remove next. We have one on the passenger side here, and we'll have one on the driver's side. And then we can go ahead and lower our exhaust to make it easier to get our hitch up for installation. We're over here on the driver's side. You're going to see this group of 3 smaller holes. This is the hole right here that we need to enlarge, and we need to do this on both sides, both the driver and the passenger side. I have got a die grinder bit just installed into this drill, and we're going to enlarge this hole right here so that we can get our hardware up through here. Go ahead and test fit this. That'll fit. and then the carriage bolts will fit. So you just need to do this on both sides. You kind of need a burr bit like this to get up here and enlarge these holes. You can use a file, but it's going to take you a while. We're going to use the supplied hardware to fish the carriage bolts and the spacers through. How this works is we're going to go ahead and we're going to be feeding everything through the hole that we enlarged here. So I kind of like to know about how far we need to go. We're going to start with the hole furthest away. This way we get a clean shot. And we'll feed the wire with the coiled end through the hole. And then we'll feed our spacer up into it. Take the carriage bolt and thread that on. Feed that up through the hole and drag it through. Now leave the wire on. You're going to need this when we, later in the next step when we put the hitch up. Go ahead and repeat that for this hole and this hole on both sides. For the hole that we enlarge, you can do a couple of different options. There is a hole in the side of the frame here, and you could feed it through, and that'd be fine. But we also have another technique here I can show you if you want to do this. It's called reverse fish wire, and we're doing the same thing. We're just doing it with the one hole though. So you go ahead and put your washer spacer on, and then take the carriage bolt, thread that on, and put the carriage bolt up first. Throw the washer up there and feed it down like this. So it's your choice on this hole, but this works for us. And now we're going to do the same on the passenger side. We're going to go ahead and put this up on the vehicle. It's nice to have an extra set of hands. This does get kind of heavy, and you're going to want to feed the fish wires through. This is why we left them on the carriage bolts. This will help keep the bolts from getting pushed up into the frame when we go and lift this up. Just kind of bring them through, and then when you've got one, so close. Take the fish wire off. If you're having trouble getting the nut started, go ahead and try to put some side pressure on the bolt. Be careful not to push the bolt back up into the frame. Okay, let's repeat that with the other remaining bolts. Let's snug these up right now, and we'll torque them to the specs that are in the installation manual. Just need to torque this down on both sides. With the hitch torqued to the specs in the installation manual, we go ahead and lift the exhaust back up and reinstall it. And then don't forget to replace the factory wire and harness. And go ahead and remove the strap, and you're done with your install. And that was a look at the CURT Class 3 receiver hitch on our 2022 Ford Escape.